Uh, Greetings, guys, and welcome to week 4 of January. Today being the 26th of this month, we're going to have a brief analysis of dollar index, this being the demand chart, and the next one being the supply chart. So in this episode, we are going to try and understand what the last week price action was and this week price action, what's going to be. And it's quite worth noting that last week there was the inauguration of the new president of USA, the 47th president, who is Donald Trump. And right here is the reaction of the economics and the political that happened last week. And we are trying to understand if this demand chart was able to give us an insight of the last week price action. We're going to use it to help us understand the coming week price action. And as you can see, last week the last week price opened at 109.44 and closed at 107.445. That's about something with 1995 points. And there was a big drop. Most of the participants weren't expecting the dollar to get weak, to be supplied. But as you understand, most of the retailers were buying. And that's why the bank had to liquidate the existing orders. And right here on our preview, you can see the previous week, the price was supposed to get into this demand zone. Yeah, that was the collection of anticipation of price, and price was supposed to get into the next demand zone, whereby the proximal line is at 110.362 and the dasher line is at 110.755. And consequently, price didn't attain that order level. We'll check the supply chart to see where the sellers made an entry, if it was a intentional order level for the supply level. But right here, we want to know if we want to get back into the price action, where are we going to buy our orders from? And as you can see, the next demand zone is quite below the price level, close to 630 points into the next demand zone, which is right here on this yellow identified zone. So it will be so fast or rational of you to start buying this coming week, unless you have an intentional order level. But for us, we will place our order levels at this proximal line and the dasher line in anticipatory of a buyback into the price. You can see the previous week, the previous reaction of this level, buyers took profits off the bullish wave, 2 times, which was more than 6,000 points on the previous wave and 6,200 points on the previous wave. So the last wave was a huge buyback and lasted more than 9,000 points. So we expect buyers to position their orders at this demand zone to see how the price will react. Yeah, and we're going to have our buyback into we're going to have our buyback into the next demand zone because the previous action price didn't reach. Yeah, that's our order level on the demand zone. Simple but clear. If we check on the daily time frame, you can see the demand zone is quite here below, and there's a pivot level at 107.674. It being pierced out, the sellers closing below on Friday, means the price might continue going lower. But if it comes back and closes above 107.64, we're going to buy. We're going to buy price back into the next demand level, and that's our identifying order level. And it will be how many pips, how many points? 4,000, close to 4,000 points that we will be targeting on the buyback. So that's it for the demand zone. Very simple and very clear. Very simple and very clear, because the daily time frame is our trading time frame. Yeah. So let's go into the supply zone. The supply chart will be this demand zone, before we quit here, is helping us only identify where buyers need to make an entry and where buyers need to take profits off their demand orders. So the demand zone is supposed to help us know where we're making our buy entries and where we're going to take the profits at. So this hanging man was a very smart stop out of the institution to prevent us from taking orders. Yeah. Yeah. As we get straight into the supply zone, the supply chart, we need to understand the importance of this supply chart. This supply chart is helping us identify the potential supply levels where the sellers make an entry into price level and where they need to take their profits off their sell orders. It has helped us, and we've had this chart for the longest time, since 2020, and preview of 2020, we'd not really had a good grasp of this understanding. But since then, we've never altered any level on this supply zone. So any price action in between this 2020 right now, all of them have been recorded and journaled in our journal books, yeah, and our files. If you want it, you can pull them out. And we decided to start this exclusive access into this analysis so that we can have a good receipt in the near future to come. And you can see this wave right here. This wave right here. Sellers took profits off the supply zone. And after they took off the profits of the supply zone, price went off. And after they take profits, sellers will only position their orders at the supply levels. So they had their first order levels here and the next. And after they went to the next, they made an entry and they went and took profits off their supply level at 102.812. After they take profits, now buyers could have a chance to have a good entry back. And as you can see, that's what happened. And there was a rally. And when it reached inside the supply zone, sellers now could be able to place enough orders to push price below the supply zone. And the next, there was a two types. There was a pullback and there was a double bottom into the supply zone. There was a double top into the supply zone. And after sellers made an entry, you can see they went and they made another entry at the supply zone, which is on a 4.731. Price went down below into the next supply zone. They took profits. That was on around October last year, 10th October, 6th October, maybe around there. When they took profits off their supply zone, of their supply orders, price now went high, skyrocketing. They tried making entries at the pivot, taking profits inside the supply zone, and after they take profits of the supply zone, price pushed out and went into the next order level. From this level, these are how many weeks of clean price action? These are 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 6 weeks. And quite intrinsic to understand is this green triangle here. We had drew it while price was here last year in December. And to our surprise, the last 2 weeks proved to be really adamant and a confirmation that our supply chart is a really good one to follow, because sellers made an entry at 109.697 And that last week, during the inaugural, there was many buzz activities around USD, and sellers sold, and they closed the week at our order level again, which is 107.440. Now, guys, let me ask you, what else do you think you need except just putting your eyes, your mind, and your attention into this analysis of the demand and the supply? Because they'll save your portfolio, they'll save your reality, they'll save your intuition, and they will complement your understanding of where the price action is going and where it's coming out. Because while the sellers closed at that level, the main supply zone is below at 106.458. But you need to understand that they have taken profits off the last week sellers, and when they take profits off, they don't have more than enough reasons to continue staying inside. So if you're going to be cautious enough, you're going to check this previous candle session and our padding zone. If you're going to anticipate a buy order, our padding zone is supposed to be around 106.834, where sellers will take off their last profits. And after that, we're going to go heavy on buying USD because sellers will have taken profits. Right now, we can start placing our first orders by buying back, but we'll have a preserved entries. Our entries will be very conservative, not aggressive, very conservative. But when the price will hit the supply zone at 106.458 and 105.834, we're going to have good orders to push price up. Yeah, we're going to have everything recorded here, and we're going to analyze everything after price has just hit this order level. Yeah, you'll be stay tuned, and we're going to try and share everything that is required for you to have a grasp, to have a good understanding of this demand and the supply zone. If you'd like, you can join our Discord channel where we have live reviews all through the week, and we will receive price alerts, analysis, signal, and extra consulting services to ensure that you have a good edge in these financial markets, and to ensure that you don't lose out while trading, because this is so emotional. Your resources are your life, and your resources, it's your task to manage your resources. So this analysis will help you make a better decision the coming week and prevent you from making experimental decision. Yeah. Thank you. Stay tuned for one thing we're here to look at is the interest rates of all the central banks in the world. And quite interesting to see is that we have the United States releasing their interest rates through the Federal Reserve Bank, and it's scheduled for next week on Wednesday, most probably, if we are not wrong. Yeah, it's scheduled for Wednesday next week on 29th January. Yeah, it will be a very interesting news to have a look. And for those who are new on this, you have to be very accurate with your sentiments and very intentional with your management, because if you miss this, your account can really debunk and go to negative anticipation. Yeah, so on Wednesday, be sure to have a good anticipatory and management of your portfolio. Yeah, but the consensus are predicting nothing to change, and the interest rate should remain at 4.5. Yeah, that's it. Stay watch of the oncoming news. Yeah, and maybe if we have the themes, if we anticipating on a bullish, our site is helping us to know that the monetary policies dynamic should favor the dollar strength into the early part of this year, that is. And our softer growth outlook will drive safe havens flows towards the dollar. Several factors support the dollar strength: reasonably steady US economic strength and hawkish leaning Fed. Significant upgrades to the next periods are set to keep US dollar gains sustained. Market featuring companies at the forefront of AI services could reinforce currency appreciation pressures. And slowdown in US inflation and growth is going to take a lot longer. And when the dust settles, the Fed is set to continue raising rates. And the US to have permanently higher rates than elsewhere in the world. The reacceleration of inflation and its win over the Fed will continue to catch market by surprise. The dollar is higher for longer, alongside the Fed's narrative, and stagflation to take USD even higher. And lastly, the hot CPI means the Fed pivot will be on the horizon. Yeah, that's it for the fundamentals perspective of the US dollar. Yeah, so guys, behind the demand and the supply, we also have other analysis that help us to understand the major outlook of the USD. This should be exclusive to our clients, but we are putting it here as our first analysis, because we're not just based on one law. We have identified enough laws to help us make a good sentiment. And right here on the monthly time frame, you can see price trying to come inside, and it might continue going lower. And on the weekly time frame, you can see price is back down below. On the daily time frame, there are no signal. On the next analysis, let's see. On this analysis, you can see the weekly time frame sellers had a good fall on price. We identify this, and it fell alongside the supply chart. That's how we find a good edge to make an entry and make the sentiment. So right now you can see the price is down below, and it might continue maybe going lower, but there's a resistance here. This is a channel, the uptrend channel analysis. Yeah, these two identified the point of resistance, and that's how there's two confluence here, which are aligning well to sellers coming into. Guys, you need to be part of this, and you need to share these nuggets with you. This is the moving average, and right here, the only support is here. Yeah, so you can see price is hanging above, and on the daily time frame, the support is right here above, around 109.69, and the next one is here. So if you're going to buy here, you need to take caution and have enough orders to support this. Yeah, we don't trade on the 4 time frame, we only trade on the daily and the weekly time frame. That's how you set and forget. Yeah, that's it, guys. Stay tuned, and if you have any inquiry, just let us know, and we'll be here to serve you. Yeah, that's it for this week. Have a blessed week, and see you next week. Stay tuned to our channels and turn on your post notification, and just inquire if you have an inquiry. We are here to help you protect your capital, so that you don't make silly decisions that will cost you a bunch. Thanks, and cheers.